Right here on BT Montreal, our weekly look at Quebec's courts. Domenic Fazioli joins us from our newsroom. Dom, we've been working all week on a couple of things. First off, let's start off with an update in the Guy Turcotte trial. What can you tell us from this week?
Well, we're almost 2 months in where the defense is laying out its case. We heard from two psychiatrists today. This is the second and third expert to testify for Guy Turcotte. We heard from Dr. Domenic who basically came to the conclusion that Guy Turcotte was mentally ill at the time he committed his crimes.
And we know how the first case ended up. Yeah. Does a testimony like this set the defense up for, the same result? What's your inkling on this?
They've been at it for 2 weeks, and they've just been pounding the jury with the same type of testimony over and over again. We heard from Dr. Louis Morissette, who's been testifying in courts for 30 years. He's very well respected. I just want to bring up a point. He mentioned on Thursday that at the time of the crimes, Guy Turcotte was involved in an act of homicidal altruism.
Okay, what does that what does that mean? Because that just seems like it's an oxymoron, right?
Yeah, I had to write this down. Basically, they contend that Guy Turcotte wanted to stop his kids from seeing him after he committed suicide. Yeah. They're putting a medical term to his condition, hoping to convince the jury. But he never praised Turcotte for what he did. Basically said, this is proof that he was mentally ill, that he was sick that night.
Trying to make that case.
Will the jury buy it? That's something else.
What's next? What's the next step as we look forward to next week?
Arguments for the defense could wrap up next week. In a perfect world, we could see closing arguments in about a week or two, sometime in mid-November, third week of November.
This may be a name that nobody wants to hear about, but we have to talk about it because it is a news story. Let's go to Luka Magnotta and the developments in his case.
There's such an appetite for this story. Yeah. It's incredible. If you remember, he was found guilty and sentenced on December 23rd, 2014. He appealed. He made a request at the Quebec Court of Appeal sometime in January, February. And back then, his lawyer, Luc Leclerc, told all the reporters that my client wants to be left alone. Do not send him letters. He wants to reach out to the victim's father and, begin the process of healing and all that. Guess what? He's sending letters. And in the letters, he's talking about how much he loves jail, how he has Versace shirts, he has pizza parties, he's drinking smoothies, listening to Celine Dion's new CD. What does that say? He's obviously a narcissistic person. Yeah. He loves himself. He loves talking about himself. He wants to be the center of attention. Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed with Luka Magnotta, absolutely. Okay,
exactly.
Dom, thank you so much for joining us on the couch here. Breakfast Television, we air also on television, 6 to 9 a.m., Monday to Friday. Thanks for joining us on btmontreal.ca.